What's going on, everybody? My name is Devin Rushing. I'm here to talk to you guys about SERE School. If you've been following my channel, you know that I've released a series on walking you through step by step, guiding you through U.S. Army Flight School to become an Army aviator. So we've reached the point now where we're here to talk about SERE School, the next thing in the pipeline. So your packet got accepted by the aviation board. You got orders to Fort Rucker. You've in processed Fort Rucker and got your upslip. Now you're ready for SERE School. This is literally the last thing you have to do before you start flying that UH-72 Lakota. So we're going to get into it. So what is SERE School? For those of you who do not know, and if you're in the military currently, I'm sure you've heard of SERE School, but SERE is an acronym for Survive, Evade, Resist, Escape. It's a school that you go to in the Army if your job puts you at high risk for being captured by the enemy. As pilots, we are behind enemy lines operating all of the time, so we are at high risk for being captured by the enemy. Our job, along with Special Forces, are the two jobs that are actually required to go to SERE School. If I'm wrong on that, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's aviation and Special Operation Forces, not just Green Beret, but also civil affairs and PSYOPs, or if you support any of those units. So I do want to make sure that I do disclose that the SERE School is classified. So I cannot go into detail about every single thing in SERE School. I'm not going to do that in this video. What my video is going to do is to give you the best advice on how to prepare for SERE School. It's not going to be walking you through step by step of SERE School. I can't do that. And you won't be able to do that even after SERE School. But you can give advice on preparation for SERE School. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the packing list. The packing list for SERE School is huge. I'm not going to go through every single item on the packing list. I will talk about the things that I encourage you to maybe make sure you don't just hand wave on the packing list. Make sure you actually spend a little bit of money on that item. Make sure you have it. I do want to say that when you start preparing your packing list for SERE School, you can also go to the hangar, which is outside of Fort Rucker, and they sell SERE kits. I didn't do that, but I had some buddies that I was in SERE School with who did go that route, and they had everything that they needed for SERE School. You can do that. I did everything on my own, and I followed exactly what was on the packing list, and I even got every single recommended item, even though the list changes all the time. But that's my story on that. So you can check that out if you want to. And just as a reminder, the hangar is the aviation support store right outside of Fort Rucker. I mentioned it in my last video. So the items that I'm going to go over are items that made my life easier in SERE School. So one of the items you're going to come across on the packing list is going to be flashlight. Now, headlamps are authorized, and that's what I would advise you to invest in. I'm pretty sure I brought 2 headlamps with me to SERE School, and I had extra batteries. I'd highly recommend you getting a decent headlamp. I mean, I don't advise spending a ton of money on a headlamp, but get a reliable headlamp with white light and red light, and make sure it's a decent, reliable headlamp. The next thing, boots. I think whenever you go to any school in the Army, whether it be SERE school, whether it be Ranger school, whether it be the Q course, any hardcore school where you're going to be doing a lot of rucking or walking or running in your uniform or in your boots, um, you should place some energy in thinking about what boot you want to bring. The perfect boot for SERE school, at least here at Fort Rucker, I can't speak at Camp McCall, but here at Fort Rucker would be a boot that's pretty thin and that dries out quickly. I brought Rockies. They did fine while I was there, but if I could do it again, I'd have probably brought the Nikes with me because they're thinner. You're going to be running through a lot of water. It rains a lot here, and I remember being wet a lot, and the drier you can keep your feet, the more comfortable your life is going to be. So thinner boots with thinner material that dries out quickly. Rockies are better for like cold winter. And I went during the summer. I can't speak for the classes that go through in the winter, but that's what I would have done if I could do it over again. Rockies are better for colder weather. Still a great boot, but when you're running around here in southern Alabama, I would go with a thinner material. I'd also recommend bringing good socks. So you got Darn Tough socks that for those people who have been in the Army for a little while, especially infantry guys, people who have been to Ranger school before, you know what Darn Toughs are. They're a little on the expensive side, but they're moisture wicking. They keep your feet dry. For the socks that you bring to SERE school, I'd recommend something like that. It doesn't have to be Darn Toughs, but I wouldn't go with the basic issue sock because, again, your feet are the most important thing at SERE school. They bring you from point A to point B, and you're going to be using them a lot. So the drier you can keep them, the more comfortable you can keep them, the better off you are. Have plenty of 550 cord. The packing list says 50 feet. I brought 50 feet, and I would recommend bringing 50 feet. I saw guys there that had brought like 10 feet. I don't know why you do that, but they would run out, and you'd have to help them out with more 550 cord. So just make sure you have the full 50 feet. Trash bags. The big, hefty trash bags are the best. You're gonna have your wet weather bag that you put all of your stuff in to put in your ruck, the green one that's like rubberized. However, if you've ever gotten that wet, and I mean really wet, it will leak and it will get everything in your bag, inside of that bag, wet. I would call that bag moisture resistant. It's definitely not waterproof. It's more water resistant than waterproof. However, if you have a plastic bag holding all of your stuff inside of that, it's perfect. None of your stuff will get wet. So I highly recommend bringing some good trash bags. On the packing list, you'll see man-made tinder. This is normally it even suggested on the packing list cotton balls with petroleum jelly. That's exactly what I would recommend. Cotton balls with petroleum jelly, and that's like your little case of Vaseline, the smallest one you can buy, in a little Ziploc bag of cotton balls. There were guys in my SERE school class, one guy in particular, who had the bright idea of soaking his cotton balls in kerosene and then putting them in a Ziploc bag. And when he tried to use them to start a fire, of course his cotton balls just immediately just went up in flames and burned out really fast. What you want is when you strike a spark on that cotton ball, you want it to kind of just sit there and hold a flame, almost like a candle. You don't want it to be engulfed in flames and burn away in 2 seconds. That's not the point. The point is it catching fire and it burning for a little bit, long enough for you to pile things on top of it. So petroleum jelly with cotton balls. Ziploc bags. Anytime I've gone to a hard school in the Army, I've always tried to bring plenty of Ziploc bags. One, you can compartmentalize your stuff in your ruck, and it's way more organized, and it's a lot easier to go, okay, that's my pen bag, that's my mat bag, that's my sock bag, and you just grab that out instead of things just exploding out all over the ground, and now you have to sort through everything and reorganize it again. If everything's compartmentalized in Ziploc bags, it makes life easier. Also, it gives you a little more waterproofing. I'd make sure you have plenty of Ziploc bags on hand. An alarm clock. This was something I didn't think would be that important. I don't want to get into many details, but some of SERE school is done in barracks. Some of it, or a lot of it, is done outside. That's all I'm going to say about that. But for the part that's done in barracks, an alarm clock is very handy because you don't have cell phones or anything like that. You could use an alarm clock on your watch if you know how to set it, but a little small alarm clock really helped me out. It actually helped my entire room out because there was 6 guys in there with me, and none of us had alarm clock, or nobody had an alarm clock except me, so it was very useful. The next thing I'm going to talk about is I'd highly recommend pace beads. The terrain around Fort Rucker there's not a lot of contour lines, there's not a lot of elevation, so terrain association is a little hard around here. Pace beads will really help you out for land nav. So that concludes on what I'm going to say about the packing list. Those are my recommendations based off of kind of, it's been a while since I've been to SERE school, but I glanced over the packing list, and those are the things that I can remember. So I hope that helps you guys out. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll do my best to try to answer them. Again, I can't go into detail about the course. It's classified, but I can try my best to prepare you for it. Next thing I'm going to talk about is fitness. What do you do to prepare for SERE school? That was one question I had for everybody. And you normally get the, oh dude, eat whatever you want, man. You're going to burn it all off. It's not a big deal. And although that is true, it's not the best advice. I found that at SERE school, if I could go back and do it over again, how I would prepare is implementing very, very long walks / runs with 20 to 30 pound bag or weight on you. In SERE school, you're going to walk very long distances for very long times. You're going to walk all day, all night through uneven terrain. And that's literally the best way to prepare for SERE school, is just walking long distances with a little bit of a load. You're not going to be, it's not like Ranger School or the Q course where you have, a 120 pound ruck on your back, at least not here at Fort Rucker. And you're walking forever with that, but you do walk forever with a light load. So I would recommend that. No crazy workouts or anything like that. I would maintain whatever you normally do. If you're in the Army, like I said, you always should maintain a certain level of fitness, but just add long distance walks with a little bit of weight on your back. That'll pay dividends in the long run. Eating. We'll talk about eating a little bit. So at SERE school, it's no secret that you're going to go a really long time without eating. You're going to lose a lot of weight. There's been several times in my Army career where I've gone long periods of times without eating, but SERE school was the longest duration I ever went without eating for a long period of time. So what I would advise is eating clean. Eat whatever you want, but try to eat clean when preparing for SERE school. Don't eat donuts for every single meal. Don't eat tons of chocolate just because you're going to go to SERE school and burn it off. It's a physically demanding school, and you want to be in good shape going there. So eat whatever you want, but try to clean it up a little bit. Don't just eat fried chicken and donuts for every single meal. That's all I'll say about that. And then the other thing I want to talk about with you guys is books. So, although the SERE school is classified and you're not going to find a lot of information on it, you can read really good books written by POWs that will give you little tidbits of information, and it'll get you motivated and in the mindset that you need to be in to go to SERE school. So, one book that I read that I really liked, I really truly enjoyed it, and I took a lot of things away from it. I made a lot of connections to this book whenever I went to SERE school, is 5 Years to Freedom by James Rowe. And it's about a special forces captain that was captured in Vietnam, and he was a POW for 5 years. Great story. Highly recommend that one. And then the next book, especially if you're coming to Fort Rucker SERE School, is In the Company of Heroes by Mike Durant. It's a phenomenal book, and obviously you're coming to an aviation SERE school, so they're going to mention Mike Durant quite a bit. So it will help knowing who that is and knowing his story. And it's a really good book. I like the book a lot. So, in closing, I want to wish you guys the best of luck. This is literally the last barrier until you start flying. This school is a very good school. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to take away a lot. And it's awesome to be on the other side of it. And 2, you get to fly after it. It's literally, you got Common Core and Advanced Airframe and ALE, and then you're done. You're going to get those wings. So, best of luck to you guys, and escape with honor. Devin rushing out.